More on what Eli Lilly's Alzheimer's drug trial results mean for the stock. Let's bring in Mohit Bansal. He's Wells Fargo's biotech and pharmaceuticals analyst. Mohit, great to have you back with us. You know, the last time we spoke, you were saying that this is not part of your model, the Alzheimer's upside. And so when you see a 6+% pop in the stock, what's being priced in, given there's some significant unknowns that we have here still, particularly when it comes to the safety profile? And we won't know the full results until July at an Alzheimer's conference.
Thanks for having me here. So what I said was that it is not a big part of our model. Our model had about 10 to 15% valuation associated with Alzheimer's. And I think the data today are definitely better than what we expected. We expected the efficacy to be somewhere in line with Biogen's data, and safety to be similar to what we have seen today. So efficacy is clearly better. So we are not surprised by the move. We published a note this morning saying that the stock could be up 10% on that. So that's the and like Dr. Patel pointed out, the most important part here is that insurers provide coverage. And now we have two drugs out there. They both show benefit to these patients, and they are in same class. So CMS, it's just a matter of time. CMS will have to find a way to cover these drugs.
So it's interesting to see the stock reaction initially when the Lilly news crossed this morning. Biogen sort of took a stutter step on the thinking that if Lilly's efficacy was better, then that would be the winner here. But actually, as you mentioned, this actually bolsters the case for coverage of both. So in this kind of scenario where the efficacy is better, but it actually sort of proves the Biogen drugs of efficacy overall and also improves the chances of reimbursement overall, how do you sort of view the two?
So we do not see these two drugs as either or. The market opportunity is much bigger. You're talking about more than 1 million patients out in the US, and then globally even bigger. This is a market, and then even if you compare the profiles of the drug, on efficacy-wise, Lilly looks better versus Biogen, but from the safety, there's clearly Biogen has an advantage. So it could be up to the doctors to decide what they want to use for their patients. And ultimately, it's a big market, and for markets like this, you sometimes need more than one player to develop the market.
So, Mohit, when you look at, you're just talking about the efficacy of Eli Lilly versus Biogen, but also, and correct me if I'm wrong, the side effects seem a lot worse, or I don't want to use the word a lot, seem worse with Eli Lilly at this point. So when you look at it, where out of the box, where you said it's not either or, but when you look at it from that standpoint, does Eli Lilly seem like a less beneficial stock to you going forward, let's say in the next 6 to 8 months?
Not particularly, because efficacy and safety are two things. But as Dr. Patel mentioned, there's an important element of Lilly's drug that is in this particular trial, they were using finite dosing. So 12 months or 18-month dosing for some of the patients. About 70% of the patients were not being dosed for more than 18 months here. And that's an important element, because if I'm a payer, there's a drug which I need to take forever versus a drug which I need to take for a finite duration. I would probably save more money with the drug which is finite duration. So overall, there are so many different aspects of these two drugs which come into play. And that's why we kind of model both of them to be similar. Besides, there are other catalysts for Eli Lilly. So competitor Novo is running an obesity trial. So for their GLP-1, and that obesity trial among obese patients, they're trying to figure out whether that drug shows benefit on cardiovascular risk endpoints. And if that turns out to be positive, that would be a big deal for Lilly and Mounjaro as well, because then these drugs are not just weight loss drugs. These drugs can be improving the cardiovascular risk profile of these patients.
So, if you take a look at the 12-month performance, these stocks are pretty much tied year to date. Lilly clearly wins. Lilly's also got Mounjaro. So which stock has more upside in your view? Would it be Lilly?
So at this point, I think at this point in our target price, I think it is Biogen for now. But a lot depends on the select obesity trial, because that is something that we do not model in our model. ultimately, if the opportunity for obesity is much bigger than what we are projecting, that could be a big upside for Lilly, because Biogen doesn't have that option. Biogen is mostly Alzheimer's at this point.